What up? What up? What up, you guys? It's Blackwing 2040. I'm back. Welcome back to the Power Rangers Marathon. Today we are doing one of my favorite seasons in the early Saban era. Well, yeah, Saban, Zordon era. This is one of my favorite seasons in the Zordon era. You guys know it. We all know. We are talking about Power Rangers Zeo. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this season. And I actually noticed something. This is my third time watching the season all the way through. And of course I've had some, reruns used to come on Jetix and ABC Family and on Toon Disney. Well, Jetix was on Toon Disney and ABC Family. But you guys get the point. But Zeo, my thoughts on Zeo have changed a lot. And but we'll get to that soon. But as always, guys, let's get this party started because, as you know, it's morphin' time. Zeo Ranger 4, green. I just felt like doing that. I just. All right, so first off, let's talk about the theme song. Oh, wait, actually, before I begin, guys, if I don't say everything of detail, just so you know, I'm only saying the things that's of importance to the story. If I forget something very minimal, even if it's just from a filler episode, it's not that important to the story. If it ain't that important to the story, I'm not gonna mention it. I'm not gonna bring it up. So anyone in the comment section or anything said if I miss something of you're like, oh, but what happened? But you forgot about this. Or like, oh, but that wasn't the way it happened. That's not what happened. Like, look, I'm reviewing this. I have my notes here. If I forgot something, I'm sorry. All right. Not every review is 100% accurate. All right. I'm not a perfectionist. If you want to get a perfectionist, go find someone else. Simple as that. Now, let's begin. So let's start off with the theme song. Top tier theme song for sure. Zeo's theme song is it just when it opens up with that godly heavenly voice like Zeo, I'm like chills, straight up chills down my spine every time I hear that theme song. Top tier theme song for sure. Love it. I love it. I love it. And let's talk about them suits. I could stare at those suits all day long. The Zeo suits are my favorite, number one favorite Ranger suit designs of all time. Like the when I first saw those suits all together, I was just blown away in awe just by how stylish, how clean they look from the helmets to the spandex. It just looked just so sleek and cool. I loved it. I loved the Zeo suits. So let's begin our story. So the last time if I could say last time on Power Rangers, the command center got blown up after the Rangers put together the Zeo Crystal to turn them from kids back into adults. Goldar and Rito stole the Zeo Crystal, and they placed an implosion device at the bottom of the command center. It exploded, and Power Rangers. The command center was destroyed with Alpha and Zordon inside. So Rita and Zed are partying it up in the palace, thinking that they destroyed the Rangers once and for all. But trouble comes for them because deep in space, we have a new evil empire showing up, and this is the Machine Empire. The Machine Empire is run by King Mondo and his wife Queen Machina, with their footmen Clank and Orbis, and King Mondo's son, Prince Sprocket. And they come with an iron fist. When I mean with an iron fist, they send Rita and Zed running. They send them running, gone packing to leave. So Rita and Zed are scared for their lives. They're leaving the palace, and they have no place to stay. So Rita suggests that they move in with her father, Master Vile. As for Goldar and Rito, they are on Earth, and they lost their memory. And they run into Bulk and Skull, and they ask them to, if they know who they are, if they can help them. But Bulk and Skull uses this as an opportunity to use them as servants. Now, back to the Rangers. So the Rangers are searching over the rubble, seeing if they can find anything. But luckily, they find the Zeo Crystals. and the Zeo Crystal is still intact. So once they pick it up, it drops them deep, creates a crater in the ground, and it drops them deep below the rubble of the command center. But deep inside, they find a hidden doorway, and it's revealed that Alpha and Zordon are alive, and that they are now in the power chamber. And Alpha said the power chamber has always been here, just in case the command center was destroyed. And so it's good to have a contingency plan in the open. So Zordon lays the details to the Rangers about them getting this, how he's glad that they got the Zeo Crystals, and he also details the Rangers on who the Machine Empire really are. So before Zordon gives the formalities and the details of what they are up against, Billy decides to step down and gives his Zeo Crystal to Tanya because Billy feels, it's decided he wants to do more. Instead of being more out there fighting, he wants to do more on the sidelines, helping the Rangers out any way he can. But of course, that's part of the reason. What the reason for this is mainly because the actor David Yost was getting harassed by the crew because of his sexuality, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, why is the crew of all people annoying, harassing an actor? That's just do your job, let the actors do their job. Simple as that. That's uncool, if I would say. So anyway, so with the Zeo Crystals comes new powers. Zordon gives them, they're Zeonizers, and so Kat is now Zeo Ranger 1 pink, Tanya is Zeo Ranger 2 yellow, Rocky is Zeo Ranger 3 blue, Adam is Zeo Ranger 4 green, and Tommy is Zeo Ranger 5 red. So that's the beginning of it. That's the beginning of a new tale, a new story of the Rangers, and they face the Cogs outside of Angel Grove and everything, just to test out their powers and everything. And yeah, that was just the first two episodes and everything. Next up is a shooting star. I'm just scrolling back in here just to remember what the plot device was for that episode. Um, I'm so sorry. Okay, so basically a shooting star. It's basically this is the episode where the Rangers get their Zeo Swords. Um, Tommy's Zord is basically represents the Phoenix. Adam's Zord represents Taurus the Bull. Rocky's Zord represents the Sphinx. The only Cat Zord is basically one of those tiki heads that's on Easter Island. And Tanya Zord, I forgot where it came from or where it represents again, but the Zeo Zords are just, it's a weird mixture. I know they're all of, well, three of them are of I would say mythical creatures, but other than that, the Zeo Zords and the Zeo Megazords, okay, but to me, I think the chest is a bit clunky, like very big. It looks a little big, but other than that, that's just the main focus of the shooting star episode. Nothing really of importance happens. Um, Next episode is Graduation Blues. So in this episode, Mr. Kaplan calls in Billy to his office to tell Billy that Billy he's completed his required credits that he needs and he's already graduated. And this is a shock to Billy, but hey, Billy's that smart, so he graduates early. He's already done. He's already done with high school, so he has the rest of his life to work on. So after Billy graduates, Sestro travels down to Earth asking Billy for assistance because on the planet Aquitar, they are getting attacked by these creatures known as the Hydro Contaminators, which will contaminate Aquitar's water supply, thereby killing everyone on Aquitar. So Billy agrees to travel to Aquitar with Sestro to defeat the Hydro Contaminators and also create a new power or defense system for them in case the need rises. And that was the end of that episode. So next story focused episode is Mr. Billy's Wild Ride. This was like Billy takes like a 3-4 episode absence, and then in this episode he's traveling back to Earth. King Mondo uses this as an opportunity to eradicate Billy. So he sends, well, he kind of, sabotages Billy's ride on the way back by, blasting his transport, and then Billy's getting flung into the sun, almost, but thankfully he guides the Rangers, Zordon, Alpha, and Billy while he's in space, helps the Rangers out to create a device that can pull Billy out of the atmos the atmospheric pull of the sun. So they pull him out, and then Billy makes it back home safely. So that's the end of Mr. Billy's Wild Ride. Next story and focus episode. There's no business like snow business. And this is a very memorable episode. So Kimberly, who's in Florida, preparing for the Olympics, she sends Tommy a Dear John letter. And she tells Tommy how she's liking the life in Florida and everything. But she brings up another thing that's just straight up out of the blue. Kimberly breaks up with Tommy in a letter of all things. And this breaks Tommy's heart completely. I just felt it was so sad to see Tommy just get his heart broken like that, because in my mind I'm like, Kimberly, why? I'm like, why would you do that? Like, why? Like, why? Oh, it was just so sad just to see. And then after Tommy, reads the letter, he's in his, sad boy phase. He's walking on the beach in the Angel Grove Park, and it shows, a montage of past moments of past, Kimberly and Tommy moments. It was sad. It was very, very, very sad. But Kat decides, to find a way to cheer him up. Now, here's the thing about this episode, or better yet, just about this whole thing in general. I know some people prefer Tommy and Kat, some people prefer Tommy and Kimberly, but of course, with this episode alone, this kind of I could see the conflict here. One, I blame the writing, because you have Kimberly break up with Tommy with a Dear John letter, and another thing. When Kat first came on the scene, she had her own agenda to literally split Tommy and Kimberly up. So I'm thinking, with this, farce, with this farce between Kimberly and Kat, and this is, mind you, this is when Kat was evil, but now that Kat's, fully good and everything. Was it the right direction to, make Kat the replacement for Tommy? Because that's the only thing that's bugging me. Because I like what Kat did, because Kat decides to use this, Tommy's heartbroken, so let's find a way to cheer him up. And that's what any good friend would do. So she decides to take Tommy and Billy up to the mountains for, like, a ski trip. And while they're up there, of course, Kat encounters some cogs, and this also kind of leaves Angel Grove, I wouldn't say defenseless, but, kind of occupied for the Machine Empire. But while they're up there, they meet a famously known snowboarder named Heather. And while they were up there, the cogs kind of removed these caution signs from a specific route on the mountains. Heather snowboards through that route, and the Rangers kind of help her out by performing by creating a jacket chain. They save Heather, and all is good. So Tommy, Kat, Billy, and Heather kind of spend the day with each other. And while Tommy and Heather are alone, Heather kind of, here's the thing. I don't know why. This is where I kind of have a problem. This was done off screen. Kat tells Heather that Tommy just got broke, just got dumped. And Heather's just trying to cheer him up, make him feel happy and everything. But I feel like it's kind of too soon, just to jump back into the dating game like that. I'm like, the dude just got his heart broken. You can't just jump right into that. That can't work for Tommy, in my opinion. I don't think that can work. But anyway, they decide to have, like, dinner and a movie, but of course, work of a ranger is never done. So Tommy has to leave Heather saying, we gotta go. We got some stuff to take care of. And that kind of leaves Heather disappointed. So they save the day, defeat the monster of the week, and then the next day, Kat decides to use Ernie's juice bar as, a dining area, and she creates a dinner for two evening for Tommy and Heather. She calls Heather down to Angel Grove, and Tommy and Heather spend a, a lovely evening, of dinner. But here, but of course, that doesn't get. It's like Rangers can't be happy. That's another thing. So while they're having dinner, Adam and Rocky tell Tommy like, we got trouble. Like we gotta go. So Tommy felt very bad to tell Heather that he has to go. And here's the bad thing about this. Heather says, "Do you know how long it took me to get down here?" I'm like, in my mind, like, girl, do you know what Tommy had to go through? You don't understand. You should not be saying, "Do you know how long it took him to get down?" You don't understand what Tommy had to go through. Tommy had almost had his powers taken away. His life, he almost died many times. He's protected your life and other civilians of Angel Grove more than you can count. All right? So you should not be saying, "Do you know how long it took me to get down here?" That was low. That's extremely low. So anyway, the Rangers defeat the monster. Tommy apologizes to Kat that her plan didn't work too well, but Kat just figured, I figured, you could have someone in your life, but well, not all good things happen. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the episode, Tommy and Kat have a lovely little dancing moment, slow dance moment, and it was some as cheesy as it was. I like it. I'm a sucker for those kind of things. It was subtle, romantic. I liked it. So the next arc for this story is the Arrowhead arc. So remember the arrowhead that Tommy received during the Zeo quests in Alien Rangers? Well, this is where it plays a part. Well, plays a specific role. So the man who gave it to him, Trueheart, shows up in Angel Grove showing a Native American exhibit, and also Tommy when Tommy runs into him, he was like, have I seen you before?" It was like, no. He was just like, "I have one of those faces." And so he decides to give David Trueheart. No, not David. The old man. The old man. He decides to give the old man a ride to his home, and this also means he also gives Tommy some motivational advice that his quest is not quite over just yet, because right during this quest, a man on a horse shows up, and Tommy's confused. Like, this horse looks familiar. This guy on the horse looks like very familiar to him. So Tommy just, and also the Falcon that helped Tommy during his Zeo quest shows back up again. So Tommy follows the Falcon. I'm probably butchering this, but he climbs up a mountain and he finds the guy that was on the horse, and turns out this guy has the other half of the arrowhead, and they put it together, and this guy is revealed to be David Trueheart, who is also Tommy's brother. And David Trueheart is actually also played by Jason David Frank's late brother. I forgot the name of his brother. I forgot the name of his brother, but forgive me. And his act Eric. Thank you, Eric Frank. This Eric Frank played David Trueheart. Sadly, Eric Frank passed away. I don't remember the exact year. Forgive me, but yeah. So, but here's a fun fact thing. A little fun fact. Eric was originally going to be the Gold Ranger in the show, so that would have been cool because that means Tommy and David would have been the first ever Ranger siblings in history. That would have been awesome. But of course, that first role goes to Andros and Corone, or Leo and Mike. But yeah, you guys get it. So moving on, um, David. Now, I mean, Tommy introduces his friends to his brother, David, He also finds out that David has a passion for martial arts as well. But King Mondo also decides to use the arrowhead for specific powers. Excuse me. So King Mondo sends the cogs to kidnap David and trap him in a cave that's filled with evil spirits, and he also wants to use the power of the arrowhead, to take over the world, as every villain would. So King Mondo, King Mondo makes a deal with Tommy that if he gives him the arrowhead, he'll give him his brother back. So Tommy gives him the arrowhead. Of course, he lies because you never trust a villain ever, because they never keep their promises. So the Rangers have to find a way to get David back. So also in this process, Tommy's given a new Zord called the Red Battlezord, but this Zord comes with a consequence, because if Tommy doesn't have a clear mind, this Zord will go out of control. But luckily, Tommy's able to find a strong mind and also use this as a test to help him out. And also with the Red Battlezord, they're able to form a new configuration called the Zeo Battle, the Mega, the Mega Battlezord. The Zeo Battlezord. I'm pretty sure I said it right. Please, if I said it wrong, forgive me. I'm sorry. Zeo Mega. Thank you. Zeo Mega Battlezord. Thank you. I think I'm gonna have to start putting down all the not all the Megazords in my notes, but maybe I should. So anyway, with that, the Rangers rescue David. Tommy also reveals to his brother that he's a Power Ranger, and that you know, all is good with the world. That's pretty much it. All right, so that's basically the end of the Arrowhead arc. Now the next arc of the show, the Gold Ranger arc. Now this is where we kick it up a notch. Well, I wouldn't say kick it up a notch, but this is where we step up even more with the show. So deep in space, a pyramid is disrupting a communication signal between the Rangers and the Machine Empire. So King Mondo sends out a monster called Wolfbane to distract the Rangers. And while the Rangers are fighting off Wolfbane, they basically get ambushed by Cogs, and also Wolfbane is gaining the upper hand against the Rangers. But luckily, I wouldn't even say a spark, but just like a flash of light, and who comes to the rescue? The Gold Ranger. But we don't know who he is yet. But here's why I love it. The Gold Ranger has one of my favorite debuts, Six Ranger debuts. All right, I know we all have, Tommy holds this, is the, we all know Tommy for jumping into the Megazord cockpit, punching the Rangers out, and also coming down as the new White Ranger. But with the Gold Ranger, dude shows up with a theme song and everything. I'm like, this is the best Six Ranger debut. This is hands down one of the best Six Rangers debut. What more can you ask for? And it's just awesome. He washes the cogs immediately, takes down Wolfbane with his Zord called Pyramidas. Only thing Pyramidas isn't that really great of a Zord, because it's just a pyramid, and its robot form is not that much useful as well. So this entire arc, the Rangers return back to the power chamber and tell Billy that turns out we got a new Ranger, and Billy doesn't, and they tell him it's the Gold Ranger. But here's another thing as this arc goes on. The many times the Gold Ranger shows up, Billy disappears. So the Rangers suspect that it's Billy that's a Gold Ranger, and Billy is like, I mean, come on, guys, I want to hide that from you. I mean, makes a point. Like, if there was if Billy ever did get powers or anything, he would let them know. I mean, unless Zordon would say otherwise, to say like, don't tell anybody yet, unless Zordon would say otherwise. But as this arc progresses, the Gold Ranger is being tracked by bounty hunters known as. Hey, what were those things called? I am so sorry. The name popped into my mind, and I just lost it. Forgive me. Veroxis. Thank you. Uh, I should have put that down there as well. I mean, I didn't think it was important, but I had the name in my head. So Veroxes are basically bounty hunters that have once they complete a goal, they head back to where they come from. So Verox comes down to Earth to hijack Paramidas and also defeat the Gold Ranger. Defeat the Gold Ranger. King Mondo also creates a deal with Verox to, help him out so he could also steal the Gold Ranger's powers. But that doesn't work out because the Rangers defeat Verox. This is just one singular Verox, but after this Verox is defeated, and not a fleet, a platoon of Veroxes are pursuing the Gold Ranger in Paramidas, and they shoot Paramidas down, and Gold Ranger crashes onto Aquitar. Veroxes think that the Gold Ranger is dead, but with the Gold Ranger landing on Aquitar, he's rescued by Sestro, and Sestro takes the Gold Ranger to Delphine, and Delphine sends a message to the Rangers, and they reveal that his identity is named Trey, Lord of Triforia. So the Equation Rangers send Trey to Earth, and so they could save Trey. Crash lands in the ocean. Well, not really ocean. I don't know where that body of water is. Somewhere in the desert. But the Rangers rescue Trey, and turns out Trey is actually three entities. He is basically Triforians are basically people that have three personas in one body. So you have Trey of Wisdom, Trey of Courage, and Trey of Heart. Those three in one singular body. And those three entities make up the Gold Ranger. So now that he tells Zordon and the Rangers that with his life being in danger, he needs to find a replacement to be the next Gold Ranger. So the Rangers suggest, let's give the powers to Billy. So they try to do the power transfer to Billy, but it doesn't work because the reason why Billy said the power transfer didn't work because when Billy hit one of the control consoles, when the command center exploded, I would say the energy and the electricity kind of affected Billy's body, and that's what's preventing him from getting the powers. But other than that, there's only one way to find. They need to find another, suitable candidate to be the next Gold Ranger. And Tommy's like, I know just the guy. So the one, and who is the person that they decide to find to be the next Gold Ranger? Well, Tommy brings the replacement. They have to walk back to the power chamber until Alpha teleports them once they're in range, and they teleport back in. Tommy reveals that the new replacement for the Gold Ranger is none other than Jason Scott. Jason is back. Our boy Jason, the original Red Ranger, is back in action. So with Jason takes the Gold Ranger power in stages. He gets the powers, he gets the power staff, but he doesn't get control of Paramidas just yet. So it's cool to see Jason and Tommy fighting together, because literally that's what he said, just like old times, man. No, but it's funny because the roles are switched, because Tommy's the leader and Jason is the Sixth Ranger. So roles are very switched here. And here's what I like what happens at the end of this arc. Jason tells Tommy that I don't want what happened to go back. Whatever happened when I left, I don't want that to go back to what happened, because, he did say he did miss being a Ranger, but he doesn't want whatever happened to go back to the way it was. Like, he was respecting that, Tommy is leader, he's the Sixth Ranger, so that's what they, and Tommy's like, don't worry about it, man. We're a team, so that's all that matters. So that's the end of the Gold Ranger arc. I would say this next episode is part of it, Mondo's Last Stand, but I would say kind of is, kind of isn't, but it is what it is. Also, I forgot to mention one thing. Trey Triforia also gives the Rangers a gift for all their help, and they reveal to the Rangers the Super Zeo Crystals, which give them access to the Super Zeo Swords, and I love these swords. So the Super Zeo Zords are basically like humanoid Zords. It has the shape. Well, their whole feature of the Zord is like the shape of the visor, and it also has the head, like the helmet, and it's I just love those Zords, and they're able to use like the power weapons that the Rangers use as well in the Zord form. That is just incredibly awesome, and together these Zords form the Super Zeo Megazord. So back to Mondo's last stand. So King Mondo, tired of losing to the Rangers, decides to, if you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. So he searches for an artifact called the Damocles Sword, and this sword gives King Mondo, more power. So King Mondo grows and starts attacking Angel Grove. Rocky, was happy. Well, he's not entirely happy that Jason is back, because now that Jason is back, everybody's feeling, excited, like, hey, Jason's back, because he was the first, he was the original. But it's funny because you have Jason and you have Rocky, who was Jason's replacement, on the same team. So Rocky feels insufficient now. So to prove himself, he decides to face King Mondo by himself, which is a bad idea. So Rocky uses his Super Zeo Sword, tries to face off King Mondo, but gets his butt kicked. So he calls the other Rangers. They form the Super Zeo Megazord, and with the Super Zeo Megazord, they defeat King Mondo, and King Mondo is taken out. For now, King Mondo will be back. And also, with King Mondo gone, that kind of leaves the Machine Empire a bit in shambles. But to Rita and Zed, they use this as an opportunity to take back, their Moon Palace. So, and mind you, this entire time, Rita and Zed are driving around in an RV back to their palace, and they also, in this process, Goldar and Rito get their memory back. So sorry. Rito and Goldar get their memory back, and they leave Bulk and Skull, and they head back to Rita and Zed. So Rita and Zed create this device called robot called Ljubica Boom, and he basically uses Ljubica Boom they basically use Ljubica Boom as a device to blow up the machines, but that doesn't happen. So basically, we're in the Ljubica Boom arc, and this arc is only 5 episodes long. But it felt longer than that because I did not like Ljubica Boom at all. So Ljubica Boom, he's basically like a human rocket. Like, picture a rocket with a head, arms, and legs, and he also has like a face on his chest. And he also speaks in a Jersey accent. So with Ljubica Boom in the vicinity of the Machine Empire, he decides to take command, and Queen Machina doesn't like this at all. And also in this arc, we get introduced to Orc the Conqueror. Orc the Conqueror is basically, first, he's a tiki, and people who find the tiki of Orc are Tanya's parents. So one of the episodes in this arc is called The Lore of Orc, and Aisha, thank God she's still mentioned, she sends Tanya a map to Mysterio Island, where Tanya's parents, are searching for the tiki of Orc. They find the tiki, but Louis takes it, and it can only work with a key. And turns out the key is with Tanya, which came with the map that Aisha sent. Which I wonder how they found the key anyway, which is still plot hole. But anyway, so Jason decides to hold the key, but it gets taken by the machines. Sprocket uses the key to awaken Orc, and he kind of fools Orc and says like the Power Rangers are evil and everything. And so Orc fights the Rangers, but the Rangers tell Orc that we were sent by Zordon to protect the Earth. And it's funny how Zordon is the key word that tells Orc, like, Zordon, did you say Zordon? I'm like, yes, Zordon's our mentor. I'm like, oh, so that's what's going on. So the little machine boy tricked me, huh? So, and that's basically the end of that episode. Tanya gets teleported to Mysterio Island so she can save her parents. She saves her parents. She's reunited with her parents and everything. And all is well with the world. So we get to the final bit of the Ljubica Boom arc. We are introduced to Prince Gasket and Archerina. Prince Gasket is King Mondo's older son, but he does not like his older son because he got married to Archerina. Archerina is a daughter of a rival king to Mondo, And so anytime Mondo sees Gasket, he's gonna like, I hate my son. I hate my oldest son, but I love my youngest son a lot more. That's a terrible, terrible family feud. So with Gasket on the scene, Machina tells Gasket that Ljubica Boom is in our palace. We need him out of here like now. So Gasket and Archerina teleport into the palace so they could get rid of Louis. So Archerina fires a love arrow, which kind of mind controls Louis, makes Louis fall deeply in love with Archerina. And Archerina tells Louis to, defeat the Power Rangers. Louis teleports down to Angel Grove and starts creating a muck. The Rangers get in their Megazord, they destroy Louis Kaboom, and that's the end of that. But that means Gasket is, head of command here. But don't worry, Gasket's gonna get what's coming to him soon. Trust me. So the next bit, we are into the King for a Day arc. So, um, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Gasket kidnaps Tommy, sends him into another dimension, and starts changing his brain waves. And this is where the first part of this was whatever happened to Zeo Ranger 5, because this is where Tommy gets kidnapped, and then we transfer over to King for a Day. I know this episode is a favorite for some people, but I don't like this episode at all, because here's the thing. This was one of the first episodes of Zeo that I watched, back when reruns used to air on TV. And of course, this was not a good episode to start off with Zeo, because Tommy gets brainwashed, and there's barely any action in this episode at all. But I don't like this episode because if I've seen it once, I've seen it before already 1,000 times. Tommy being evil, or better yet, Tommy being brainwashed. And I don't know. I didn't like it. I really don't like it. So the Rangers find out that Tommy's been sent to another dimension, and that the only way they could find Tommy is they have to go into that into a gateway, and the gateway is on by the lake on Angel Grove, and it has like a hologram of Tommy. And once they walk in, they get sent to a different dimension. So sorry, guys. Oh, excuse me. So Jason walks into the door, the gateway, but it turns out it's a trap, and he gets sent into the arena. And Gasket also tells Tommy that the Power Rangers are evil, that they bring evil wherever they go, and he also tells Tommy that he's the king of the Machine Empire, and just basically just fools Tommy. So Gasket also brings in a monster to face off Jason. Jason defeats the monster easily. And so Tommy decides to step into the ring and fight Jason. Kind of brings you back to Green with Evil when Jason and Tommy first fought each other, right? Also, Bulk and Skull also get sent into the gateway while they were trying to show proof to the people of Angel Grove that they saw Zeo Ranger 5 along the lake. And they meet an alien called Tritor. And this alien, Tritor, is also played by Koichi Sakamoto, who is very known in the Power Rangers productions. He's a stuntman in Super Sentai and other forms of tokusatsu. So this was really cool. And also, King for Day was directed by Koichi. Now, here's the thing. With Koichi Sakamoto's directing style, you can tell the style is his if the camera is slanted. Like, when you see a scene of somebody and it looks tilted, that's how you know that's Koichi directing the episode. Or you just look at the credits, where you can tell that's his directing style. Now, I did say I don't like King for a Day. I mean, just the writing for this episode was it wasn't for me. But the direction that with Koichi being in charge, it was cool. So Tritor helps Bulk and Skull try to escape the arena by destroying the generator around the arena. And also Rita and Zed decides, that they feel bad because, I guess we got to help the Rangers now, because if the machines destroy the Rangers, the machines destroy Earth, and then that leaves Rita and Zed without no Earth to conquer. So that's the end. So the Rangers, Finster teleports the other Rangers, the other 4 Rangers, in to defeat, well, not defeat, to try to help Tommy come to his senses. So the only way that they saved Tommy was, they demorph and so Tommy their faces to remember their moments of their friendship. Basically, Tommy is saved by the power of friendship. That's how his memory comes back. Brother. And so Tritor destroys the force field generator around the arena, and they teleport out. And Gasket is kind of disappointed but he knows he'll create another plan to defeat the Rangers soon. All right, so that's the end of the King for a Day arc. The next story focus arc is Rangers of Two Worlds. So in this episode, Jason tells the others that they got to go to the power. I'm gonna keep saying command center. Power chamber. Power chamber. The base of operations for right now is the power chamber. Gosh, it's like a tongue twister. Command center, power chamber. Command center, power chamber. So anyway, they teleport back to the power chamber and they see an old man, but it turns out this old man is actually Billy. And the reason why Billy is aging is because the regenerator device that they used in Alien Rangers, because it had a side effect. So now Billy's aging rapidly. And so they call upon the Alien Rangers of Aquitar for help. So Sestro brings a device using the waters from Angel Grove Falls to de-age Billy back to his regular self again, but it doesn't work. So with that also being the process, Rita and Zed create a monster out of an old purse that Kat made in art class. And also King Mondo sends down a monster that kind of sabotages the Zeo Megazord by sending a little gear, not a gear shift, but like a gear into the Megazord, basically sabotaging the Megazord. And also the purse monster also is very strong. The Rangers, every single attack the Rangers throw at it, it deflects it right back at it, even in the Ultra Zord form. So the impersonator hijacks the Super Zeo Megazord, and the monsters are basically attacking each other. Now with this, so you got two crises going on: monsters hijacking Megazords, and Billy's getting older and older. So the aliens have a friend. Well, Billy said there's an old friend on Aquitar called Cestria, and she comes to Earth to bring water from their planet to help with see if it can help with Billy's aging problem. But that also doesn't work. So the only way that this can help Billy is that Billy needs to go to Aquitar for more tests to stop his aging process. Of course, it's risky, but Billy said it's a risk he's willing to take. So Billy leaves for Aquitar, and the Rangers of Aquitar come to Earth to help the Zeo Rangers fight off, the Cogs and the impersonator monster and the monster of the week. And they defeat the monster together, and that's the end. I also forgot to mention, this is the first ever Ranger team up between two Ranger teams. I don't count the team up between Masked Rider because that's basically a backdoor pilot to Masked Rider. That doesn't count. In my eyes, that doesn't count. But this episode, Rangers of Two Worlds, this is basically a team up. The first ever team up in Power Rangers history. So the Rangers teleport back to the power chamber. They receive a message from Aquitar. Cestria tells the Rangers that the tests work and Billy is young again. And they ask if Billy is coming back, and Billy says he ain't coming back because he found someone who he can relate to, and that person being Cestria. So basically, Billy and Cestria are in love, and Billy says his final goodbyes, and that's the end of Billy. And so our final story focus episode, Good as Gold. So it's revealed in this episode that the Gold Ranger powers are are failing Jason and also killing him in the process. So the Rangers have to call back Trey so they can get the Gold Ranger powers back. But this is also a problem because King Mondo decides to use it as an opportunity to get the Zeo the Gold Ranger powers, but also Rita and Zed want to get the Gold Ranger powers. But Zed comes up with a plan, and he decides to like, you know what, Mondo, you get the powers. We'll step out of your way. And so, with Trey comes back to Earth, and they have to head into the Angel Grove Desert at a specific point to fire a beam at 3 planets that could fuse the 3 Trey energies back into one. So Alpha fires a beam from Earth. It hits Aquitar, then Troforia, lands back to Earth, and then the Treys become one again, and they're back, and their powers are completely restored. So they fight off some cogs, and then King Mondo comes back. I forgot to mention that King Mondo comes back after Gasket leaves. So King Mondo decides to he's big and he has a fair share of giant cogs, and so the Rangers are about to call the Zords, but Trey is like, as you say on your planet, it is best to fight fire with fire. Join hands with me. Concentrate your power into each other. And he raises his hand and says, Power Triforia, make them grow. And the Rangers grow big. And this is one of those moments where I say, anything is possible in Power Rangers. Anything is possible. The first time I saw this, I was like, the Rangers can grow big? I know this has happened before in Green with Evil when Rita made Tommy big as a Green Ranger, but I'm just saying, like, the entire team as giants, that was just like the day is saved. So Zed tells this is funny. This point is kind of funny. Zed tells Mondo that, we're out of your league. We don't deserve to do this. So he decides to give them a peace offering. And they leave in their RV, and it turns out the peace offering, when Sprocket opens it, is actually a bomb. So Zed's backup plan was to blow up the machines. And as they're driving by, their body parts are like, sprawled out everywhere. And King Mondo's head is just like, you haven't seen the last of the Machine Empire. And, that's the end of them. And, Jason and Tommy have one little bit of heart-to-heart conversation, saying, it's hard to give up your powers because, Tommy was in that same boat. So Jason understands, and, they say their goodbye, and Jason walks off, and he meets up with this new girl named Emily. I forgot. And I'll talk about Emily soon. I'll talk about her soon. And then Kat walks up to Tommy saying, is Jason going to be all right? And Tommy's like, yeah, he'll be fine. There's a lot more to than just saving the world. And Kat agrees. They walk away. Kat and Tommy hold hands, revealing, they're now a couple. And that's the end of Zeo. That is basically the end of Zeo. Yeah. Now, oh yeah, I don't make my rating yet. So let's talk about the Rangers. So, of course, we have Tommy as the leader. Tommy has developed a lot more from just, because when he was the White Ranger, I feel like the whole focus was on him most of the time, which I didn't really like. But here, Tommy gets some development, his breakup with Kimberly, his discovery that he has a brother, his brotherhood friendship with Jason in the middle of the season. So Tommy does get a fair share of development, and he does I would say he does step up as a leader. All leaders make mistakes. No Ranger leader is perfect, you know what I mean. If a Ranger leader was perfect, then we wouldn't have, good characters. But Tommy does, step up a lot more in Zeo. I wouldn't say he does in Turbo. I wouldn't say that he does because he's just there babysitting for Justin. But yeah, now for Adam. Actually, I'll talk about Adam and Tanya because their development kind of happens together. Because there's a character in the show called Sean. He's supposed to be Tanya's girlfriend. And Sean is kind of a jock. He's like the jock character. And he gets kind of pissed off at Tanya for some petty things. And in there's a baseball episode where he's kind of disappointed that, that Tanya kind of dragged the game out for them, but even though they still won, that they should have won early. And so Tanya breaks up with him, and Adam was like, I'm proud of you. You stood up for yourself. So Adam and Tanya both get development together, especially in like focus episodes that are about Tanya. Adam doesn't really get. He only gets one focus episode, I would say. Well, that's about it. But I would. These two were definitely, I could say, were meant to become a couple because their chemistry together is strong, and the way they work well together. There are moments where Adam is teaching Tanya martial arts because Tanya doesn't know martial arts. That's a good distinction of good development, good growth as characters, and it was great to see from them. Now Rocky also gets some development as well. Rocky goes from the goofball that we saw from when he first showed up in season 2 to someone with more integrity. Because there are episodes where Rocky, you may think Rocky seems very irresponsible. He may do, dumb things, but he does learn. Like he does recognize his mistakes and everything. Like facing King Mondo alone, and having a bit of a downside because Jason is back, but Jason understands like hey, we're a team now. I mean, granted, I know you did replace me and all, but don't let that bother you. We're a team, regardless. And Rocky just like he has fun. Like he does. This is where this season Rocky shines the he shines a lot more in Zeo than he does in MMPR. So that's the great thing about Rocky. It's like the writers and the director or the people who are directing Zeo just decide to like let Rocky loose and just like do you. And that's exactly what Rocky got this season. He got to be himself. He really got to be himself. Next, we got Kat. Kat is basically, still the Pink Ranger of the team. She has a lot of moments with Tommy, and, she helps out Tommy during his breakup with Kimberly, and it's a hard process for him, but she's there. She's definitely a ride or die person at this point because you do need those kind of people in your life. And I do applaud Kat for those moments of just helping Tommy out through his rough time. And then later on in the show, Kat and Tommy become a couple, and that's about it. Jason, with Jason coming back, I would talk about Trey, but Trey is only a Ranger for just like 7 episodes plus the finale. Because majority of the Gold Ranger arc, we don't know who Trey is until his identity is revealed that one time, and that's about it. But with Jason back, um, Jason kind of, Jason's role is switched now that he's not leader; he's the sixth Ranger of the team, and he still has that bromance with Tommy, which is good to see. And I do love how in King for a Day, where he said this line, "I failed Tommy once. I mean, not failed. I let Tommy down once. I won't let him down again." So he does have a little bit. He's not okay. He has that little bit of guilt side to him, but he's still ready to like redeem himself to help out Tommy or any of his friends, no matter what. But mainly because Tommy's his bro. That's his bro. That's his buddy right there. And I can't really say much about Trey. I really can't. But yeah, that's for the Rangers. Now for side characters, Bulk and Skull, throughout this season, they are working with Lieutenant Stone at the police department. Of course, still the comedic relief of the season. And of course, later in the season, Lieutenant Stone gets fired because of Bulk and Skull's actions. And Bulk and Skull quit the force because Lieutenant Stone quit. And Lieutenant Stone said the boys did him a favor because he wanted to start his own detective agency. So he now goes by Detective Stone now. And he also teaches Bulk and Skull how to become detectives. And at the end of the season, they're high on bills, and that also Detective Stone hasn't given Bulk and Skull like official case to work on. And someone from France offers them a case to do. And so they quit the detective agency and they leave for Paris. But I'll expand on this point later. And then of course we still have Ernie serving, the beverages and the juice bar. But later on the show, Ernie creates a beach club for the youth kids. And also, we get introduced to a new character called Emily. Emily is this character who's part of a biker gang. She's a boyfriend to one of the lead bikers, but she kind of breaks, I guess you could say she breaks up with him. And she also starts having this attraction to Jason. And so it's good to see Jason is making his move with a certain pretty girl. So, which is cool. And I have Org down here, but Org is only down here for 3 episodes. I don't really need to mention him at all. There's nothing that Org does. And of course, like I said, the villains, the Machine Empire, King Mondo, Queen Machina, Orbis and Clank, Ljubica Boom, Prince Gasket, Archerina. Like I said, King Mondo is the head of the Machine Empire. Machina is his wife. Sprocket is his youngest son. Orbis and Clank, their job, they're the head footmen of the Machine Empire, and their job is basically making the monsters grow. And how they do it is Clank turns Orbis into like a mace, and he flings Orbis around by saying, "Around and around, and away you go!" And Orbis attaches himself to a monster and just makes them grow. Uh, Ljubica Boom is like I said, Ljubica Boom is only in like 5 episodes, and that's about it. Prince Gasket and Archerina are there for a few episodes, and then they dip, and they're never to be seen again. Like throughout this entire franchise, never again. And of course, the foot soldiers of this season are Cogs. I know I'm seeing you guys in the chat, Thomas, Patty, Mikey. Thank you guys for being here. I know, just so you guys know, if I know this is live, I do see you guys in the chat. Just know I'm just trying to get this review done and everything. But I do appreciate you guys being here, though. I do appreciate that. Woo. Talking a lot. So, the footage of Power Ranger Zeo comes from Choriki Sentai O Ranger. I only saw one episode of O Ranger, and that was the first episode. That's the only episode of O Ranger that I watched. And I did watch the team up movie O Ranger versus Kaku Ranger, which is also the footage of Rangers of Two Worlds. That's where it came from. Of course, we got some interactions we got some very good interactions between the Alien Rangers and the Zeo Rangers, so I don't really have a problem with that team up. But as a whole, as a season, what would I rank Power Rangers Zeo? I would say Zeo is a raw season. Zeo is raw. It's raw for me. It's not GOAT. It's not GOAT, but it's raw. It's definitely raw. It does have some GOAT moments, I would say. The Gold Ranger appearing, the Rangers with the Zeo powers and everything. And mind you, I do love the fight scenes. Just the fight scenes in this show are just beautiful. Whether it be the Sentai footage or the American footage. The fight scenes just work incredibly well. So yeah, that's all I can. Yeah, that's my review of Power Rangers Zeo. Tune in next time where I review Power Rangers Turbo. I know some of you are asking, am I going to cover the movie? No, I'm not going to cover the movie because the first episode of Turbo kind of gives you a clip show of the movie. It tells you what happens, how the Rangers got their powers and everything. And plus, I don't want to sit through that movie. The Turbo movie was bad. And it's boring. The pacing is terrible in that movie. It's just the Turbo movie is really bad, guys. But there's a lot of plot holes, like the whole transition between Zeo to Turbo. Like the Zeo powers are still intact, so the Rangers still technically can still use them. But the transition from Zeo to Turbo wasn't that great, because to go from a good season to a bad season, it's just But there is some good things to look into for Turbo, like the second half, mainly the Phantom Ranger arc and that epic dark finale of Turbo, which is gonna be great. And after Turbo, we get to the GOAT era of Power Rangers, which is Power Rangers in Space. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a fun ride, you guys. So in the comment section below, tell me what are your guys' favorite moments from Power Rangers Zeo. What were your favorite episodes? Who was your favorite Ranger? Do were moments that you didn't like about Zeo. So let me know in the comment section below and be civil about them, please. Please be civil. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also don't forget to click that bell to be notified of any live stream or upload that I do. And until then, I'm Vengeance, I'm Darkness, I am Blackwing. Stay golden, and may the power protect you.